Hi, this is James Tanner. This is the Exploring Genealogy series. This is an ongoing series of videos that are designed to explore various aspects, programs, online websites, and research techniques pertaining to genealogy. I would invite everyone who is interested to subscribe to the channel and watch for the posts of the channel on my blogs, Genealogy Star and Rejoice and Be Exceeding Glad. In this particular episode, I will be exploring the MyHeritage website. I have already posted a video about signing up and an introduction to MyHeritage. I will carry a little further the information about MyHeritage, and from time to time may do additional videos about this and other websites that are considered to be the large online databases with family tree programs. MyHeritage is different than the other websites, and you may wish to watch the introductory video, which is number 10 in this series. And this is episode number 11. When you sign in to MyHeritage, you are given the option of creating your own family tree from scratch, or you can import a family tree using a GEDCOM file, or you can, if you are a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, import up to 8 generations of your portion of the FamilySearch.org family tree. The particular file that we're looking at here is one that has been imported from Family Search. I'll pop over here to my family tree, and so we can get an idea of what is imported. This is the Pedigree View. There is a family view where you can see the information in a different format, but I certainly do prefer the Pedigree View. One of the things that you see immediately when you look at MyHeritage and have been on the program for a period of time are a large number of dots. These are record matches to records that the Super Search program, which is their search engine program, has discovered for each of the individuals. You can see nearly every individual on this pedigree has a blue dot. Some have the green dots. The green dots indicate smart matches. Those are matches to other family trees that have the same person. At this point, I'm going to go back to the home screen. I'm going to zoom in here on the record matches. And you can see that I have close to 7,000 record matches. What does this mean? It means that the Super Search program has looked through every person in my family tree on MyHeritage and matched them up to records at a very, very high degree of accuracy. This is my experience, that I've had quite a number of years of my experience with the program, and their accuracy is very impressive. Recently, I have been working through the newspaper links on the program. I find them to be fascinating. They have a direct link to Chronicling America, the Library of Congress's collection of records, newspaper records, and I have 416 matches. I started out somewhere around 300 and have been adding them to my family tree as linked sources, and except the number keeps going up faster than I can add in new ones. There's also Utah newspaper project links and other newspapers scattered throughout the United States. There are millions and millions of pages of newspapers that are completely searched automatically by the Super Search program. To begin on this program is somewhat overwhelming, especially if you either upload a GEDCOM file or have the free Family Search partnership and import your portion of the Family Search family tree. So the main question here would be, where do you begin? I prefer to focus on individuals rather than simply becoming overwhelmed by the number of sources that have been added and suggested by the program. A couple of things to note, however, is that MyHeritage has a tremendous collection of Scandinavian records, and they are also completely indexed for Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Finland, and are a great benefit to those who have ancestors in those countries. Just a moment to show the resources. If you click on Search All the Records up on the research link at the top of the page, you'll see that there are now over 9.7 billion historical records on the program, completely indexed and available, and are being searched constantly by the program for links to your ancestors when you have those a family tree in MyHeritage. You can search for records on MyHeritage. It is possible to use the search engine Super Search to look for people directly in the program. I would suggest that most of the information that you're going to be searching for will either already be found by the Super Search program and put out as record matches, or that it would be more advantageous for you to focus on those individuals in your family tree and search from your family tree rather than simply entering names into the search engine. For example, if I were to go back to my family tree and say that I wanted to do some searching here, by the way, there's some red icons here that say 2x, 2x. Those indicate that there are duplicate records. And if there are duplicate records in this program, after I have synchronized it and brought it over from FamilySearch.org, it is likely that not only likely, it is definitely the case that there are duplicates of those individuals in the Family Search family tree. These duplicates show up in two places on my pedigree here. And the interesting thing is that they are the same person. How is that the case? Well, my parents have some of the same ancestors. The difference here is that this person, Marinus Christensen, who shows as a child in this family, which is the same as Mary Christine Christensen, who is showing as the child in this family, is basically the same person, but this individual was adopted, and so my parents really aren't directly related, although they do share part of their pedigree. For years, I thought they were related through their second cousins, but they turned out not to be. This also illustrates that there are some interesting problems in family search, because Mary Christina's married name was Overson, but her maiden name was Christensen, and her married name was Overson. And you can just make a quick edit right there on the program without having to go to any great effort. When you hover over a name, there's a little pencil icon, quick edit, that shows up, so you can do editing right here out of the family tree. It's interesting that this says that there are duplicates. Of course there's duplicate, because these two families are basically the same person. The question, of course, is there actual duplicate in the family tree? So I would be able to switch back to Family Search and see whether or not there was a duplicate in the Family Search family tree. Now, if you're working this program for the first time and you are and you're looking at your pedigree, you may not have anything that even vaguely appears to be like this. It may only have a couple of generations and a few people. But you should immediately begin to see record matches. Those are the little brown icons. And if you go to any one of the little brown icons, you should be able to find information that will probably extend your family tree. My experience is that for most people who have ancestors back a couple of generations in the United States, that you should be able to find up to 3 and 4 generations of your family rather quickly, unless you have some particular problem, such as being adopted or or you were a foundling and abandoned by your parents, or some other circumstance that might make it very difficult to find your ancestors. However, I would suggest that if you are in that type of situation, that you may wish to investigate having a DNA test done through MyHeritage. If you've had a DNA test from another supplier, you can pay a fee and have that uploaded to MyHeritage. But if you already have a membership, full membership, as I explained in the previous video of MyHeritage, you have some other advantages that you may not have without a full membership. For my DNA matches, you can see that I have something over 8,000 matches from around the world. The numbers here on MyHeritage can sometimes be overwhelming and intimidating, but once again, I mention that I focus on the individuals and not on the numbers of other people that I happen to have out there, due primarily to the fact that I have been doing research now for going on 38 years, so it looks like there's a lot of information. Let's go back to the family tree and see what happens when we find a record for an individual. There's one more interesting icon, and that's the little DNA matches icon. And you can see there aren't very many of those on my immediate family tree, and so the utility of having all of the relatives out there without doing some more research is mostly an opportunity rather than something that can be resolved immediately. There are, of course, smart matches occasionally, and those are helpful, particularly if it turns out that the individuals who we have in smart matches are also individuals who show up on the DNA testing. So let's take an individual, just choose one here. We have records here on Samuel Shepherd. So let me go to the record matches for him. This is specifically focusing in on him. It says that he was a Mormon pioneer from 1847, which is correct, he was. And this is the information. We have John Samuel Shepherd, may or may not be correct information. We'll try that. It looks like it says he was from Middlesex, England, and that is definitely not the case. He was not from England. He was from Rutland, Vermont. Died in California, actually. So he was not in England. You can always click that match out and say reject it, and it's gone. And then you can focus in on the ones that are more likely him. Now here's Samuel Shepherd, buried in the Pioneer Memorial Cemetery in San Bernardino, California, and that's him. And let's pick that up. And you can see the full record on billion graves, if you wish to look at that. And you can confirm the match by looking at the information that you have over here and the death date matches. So we'll confirm that match. And now I have an opportunity to look at the entire record and add a source citation. In this case, it also shows his wife, and that information is also helpful. We'll put that source over. And her married name was Shepherd, and her maiden name was Bates. This says that this is an improved one. It was Swarthout Shepherd. We'll put that one over. The question we have, of course, is did she have another husband? And so that may be the case now that we've seen that, and we can save that to the family tree. And now we have another record listed. Immediately we'll see that there are some additional records. Well, almost immediately. It can take a few seconds. These are record detective results, and they expand on the information that we've now confirmed and provide additional information about the individuals. In this case, we have a federal census, 1850s federal census record. We have another record here. We can examine each of those records. Well, that about wraps it up for today. I would suggest that we may want to come back to MyHeritage and look at some very specific information in the near future. Otherwise, I would suggest and request that you may want to subscribe to this channel by clicking on the subscribe button. And thank you again for watching another one of the Exploring Genealogy series videos.